Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and a very good evening. Today I would like to present about our second assessment, which is entitled Comparative Literature, National Borders and Poverty. This is my statement of intent. As you can see, this presentation attempts to conduct comparative literature between the text Carlos Fuentes' The Cost of Living and Mahasweta Davis' Dowry. As a part of this analysis, the issues that are going to be focused on are notions of ideology, significance of social status, and agency. At the end of this study, I will investigate on how these elements contribute to the notion of poverty. So, this is my methodology, which I've derived from my statement of intent. As you can see, there are three elements that I'm going to be focusing on, which are ideology, significance of social status, and agency, which I am later going to imply or apply on the two texts, which are the cost of living and dowry. And at the end, I will, as a part of my analysis, I will study the notion of poverty on how these three elements bring to this conclusion. So my hypothesis goes: the writer's main message in writing these two texts is poverty, because I have found two research that have been found regarding on the issues that always being highlighted by these two writers when it comes to writing text, which is first the Dowli, Mahasuta's concern in writing exploitation, fight against oppression and to root for justice, deprivation and degradation, and carrying subaltern voices. While for the second text, which is the cost of living, this is quote I took from the writer himself. The rate of illiteracy, poverty, joblessness in Latin America has been so great throughout our history that if the writers didn't speak out for the people, nobody would. So it is evident that poverty is always being the concerns of these two writers when it comes to writing. So this is my analysis of text, which is first, this is my point of divergence, points of ideology. Even though the issue of this issue exists in the two texts, but the mediums that they use to convey the ideology are different. As you can see, as in Dowli, it is social. The medium that is being used is the social, as in caste, while for cost of living, the medium that is used to convey the ideology is political, as in positionality. Both mediums are used to control people so that they submit to the fixed traditions and rules. As you can see, the first text, this is the excerpts. This is the first excerpt. Why you were born a Dusat. From this quote, you can see that it is the issue of caste that is being highlighted. It doesn't matter if she is being abused, hurt, but she will always be the one to be blamed. And there's no sense of escape, as you can see. And it is being supported by this quote as well. While for the next excerpt, no, Diota, don't mistake it for love. You are a young Brahman man. You will marry a bride proper for you. Please stop this. As you can see from the notion of proper, this one, you can see that again it is the issue of the caste that is being highlighted, and in fact the difference of Brahmin versus Dusat is also being discussed in this excerpt. And the issue of marrying someone that is coming from a lower caste is seen or considered as improper. While for the next text, which is cost of living, you can see that the idea or the ideology of political, the medium of political that is being used for this text. You can see the director sat on the lecture platform chair and the rest of them sat at the desk. And the director looked at them with his black eyes and they all look at him. From this example, you can see that it shows who is superior and who is inferior, which means the manager is being the superior ones, and while for the teacher is being inferior other. And it shows the power over the teachers. And at the end, it shows that from this example, that the employer being indifferent about the future of the employee. Thus, these two excerpts, the proof, the textual evidences that I found, it shows that these events will lead to oppression in so many sense. Then society, you can see that society are restricted to continue life without options before them. So they live with no choice but just to accept what is being served in front. So it shows that money really matters, as in especially when it comes to the level of live in, as in the society. So from this idea, it shows that mediums of ideology, as in social and political, are effective. It proves that poverty exists and so significant in these two texts. Moving on, what the point of convergence, which is first significance of social class. As in this for this presentation, I will focus on the difference in social class plays a very important role in determining the life of the characters. For the first text, which is Dowley, the first excerpt goes, I'm a poor Dusat widow and you are the landlord. Please don't make fun of me. While the second excerpt, I know there can be bastards between the landlords and Ganju or Dusat girl. That happens all the time, but not love. From these two excerpts, you can see that Dowley is seen as someone who is helpless and without dignity. In fact, she is seen as more being a sex object rather than being a woman. And the notion of Dusat itself tells that she is not at par with Brahman men. While in the cost of living, the first excerpt goes that Anna was very sick and wasn't going to be able to work all month and they needed money. What I thought was that you might be able to talk to your boss. He might have something for me, some kind of work. In the third excerpt, the man slowly withdrew the knife and snapped his fingers, and Salvador fell with his mouth open. Actually, these three excerpts it shows the journey of Salvador, which is the protagonist, in surviving his life. Okay, you can see that from this excerpt, it shows that Salvador really needed money. Okay, and it is and he is desperate, so at the end he becomes a teacher as well as taxi driver. So due to this financial crisis that he has, it eventually costs his life. And what these excerpts prove is being left in poverty and at the bottom of social class, it makes both of the characters have no options in their life but just to accept. And then this moving on, the next point, which is a point of convergence as in agency. I will be focusing on the notions of agency are found in the text, but they end up in a very poor way. What I mean is, as you can see in the first text, Dowley reads in his face the power her presence still has on his mind. It makes her happy in a way that also makes her suddenly bold enough to speak up. As you can see, there's a element of agency in these two words. And for the next excerpt, she feels hurt, wounded by nature's indifference to her plight. Tears finally run from her eyes with the pain of his new injury. It shows that from these two excerpts, it shows her agency by voicing out her disappointment and anger towards the Brahman man, but due to her disability, which is poor, then there's no solution found. While for cost of living, the director said no one was dying of hunger and that everyone was having a hard time, and the teachers became angry, and one said that he punched tickets on a bus after teaching 2 sessions, and another said that he worked every night in a sandwich shop at Santa Maria la Redonda. So it shows that the teachers actually express the anger same with Dowley, but it doesn't work. It doesn't affect anything in their life. At the end, as in the cost of living, Salvador still has to find another job and died. In both situations, it shows agency. However, due to the reason of poverty, the notion of agency is not significant at all. So we can see again that the poverty is significant and covers the act of agency until it becomes insignificant. So, as a conclusion, conductive comparative literature with national border crossing as the parameter allows me to see variety of issues being highlighted and discussed, like notions of ideology, significance of social status, and agency. These differences and similarities encourage me to appreciate and embrace more of people traditions and cultures since this is not a nation's context. And the one of the other main message, or I think that I got from this analysis, is that the writer's main message is writing these two texts is poverty. And as a whole, I mean, as when it comes to applying this the message in daily life, I think as a part of society, it makes me feel that we more grateful with the life that I own now, because at least I don't experience such level of financial difficulty or poverty, and I'm still being able to enjoy my life moderately as what it is now. Thank you. That will be all for my presentation today, and I would like to end my presentation with a quote by Baldwin. Anyone who has ever struggled with poverty knows how extremely expensive it is to be poor. Thank you. Have a nice day.